Today we're going to be looking at function operations, section 6.6 in the book. Function operations can be written in two different ways. You can see it as the first way, like f plus g in the parentheses, which just means this f function plus whatever the g function is. So you can add two functions, you can subtract two functions, you can multiply two functions, or you can divide two functions. So let's look at some examples. If we let f of x equals 4x plus 7, and we let g of x equal the square root of x plus x, then what is f plus g and what is g minus f? Right now we're not going to worry about their domains. So let's start with the first one. If I want to find f plus g of x, then remember that that just means the f function plus the g function. So if the f function is 4x plus 7, and then I add to it the g function, which is the square root of x plus x, then you put into order. 4x plus x makes 5x plus the square root of x plus 7. This is the order it goes in because this has a power of 1/2. A square root, remember, means a power of 1/2, and then this has no power. So it goes from 1 to 1/2 to 0. Now let's do g minus f of x. Same thing, this means the g function minus the f function. When you do subtraction, you need to make sure to put it in parentheses. So we say the g function minus the f function. This way, I remember to subtract both of these terms. So, once again, we're going to start with the x's since they're the highest power. So x minus 4x makes negative 3x. The square root of x, I have nothing to subtract from it, so it's just going to stay plus a square root of x. And then I have to take nothing minus the 7, giving me a negative 7. So let's try another example. This time, let's do f times g, f divided by g. Again, right now we're not going to worry about the domains. So if I want f times g of x, then that means the f of x function times the g of x function. So I'm going to take f of x, which is x squared minus 9, and I'm going to times by it the g function, which is x plus 3. This is telling me now that I have to distribute or FOIL. So I'm going to do x squared times x and get x cubed, x squared times 3 and get plus 3x squared, negative 9 times x and get negative 9x, and then negative 9 times 3, which gives me negative 27. Check to make sure that there are no like terms to combine and that they are in order. 3, 2, 1, none. And that would be your final answer. So then let's look at f divided by g of x. So we're going to do the f of x function over the g of x function. This takes us back to topics of chapter 8, where we have to make sure that if we can factor and simplify that we do so. So if f of x is x squared minus 9 and g of x is x plus 3, I know that the top can factor as x plus 3 and x minus 3 over the x plus 3, then I can cancel out the family of x plus 3. So my final answer would be x minus 3, but x cannot equal negative 3. You have to remember about your restrictions. So f divided by g of x would be this as a final answer. When you are dividing functions, make sure to include the restrictions. Alright, next thing we're going to look at is the composition of two functions. There's two ways of writing compositions. Sometimes you'll see it written like this, other times you'll see it written like this, but they mean the same thing. Whatever comes last is going to be on the parentheses inside first, and that's how you work it. So if I want to know what f or g of f of x is, then I want to take the g function and plug into it the f of x function. So if the g function is x squared, then where there's an x, I'm going to plug in what f of x is. So I take this and I plug it in to the g function. We always work backwards, so f goes into g. So x minus 5 goes into the x squared function. Then this tells me to write it twice and FOIL out. When I FOIL it out, I get x squared minus 10x plus 25. So f of g, not that one, g of f of x will equal that. So then if I want to do this one, this means f of g of x. So I'm going the reverse way this time, and I'm plugging g into f. So I'm taking this and plugging it in for x over here. So it becomes x squared minus 5. Now there's nothing there for me to do, so then the final answer of f of g of x is x squared minus 5. You can also do compositions of functions with a number here. All this means is we're going to take the negative 2 and we're going to plug it into the g function first. So we're going to say g of negative 2 equals 2 times negative 2, telling us that g of negative 2 equals negative 4. Then we take that answer and we plug it in to the f function. So then it becomes f of negative 4 equals negative 4 squared plus 4. Negative 4 squared is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. So the whole answer is 20. So you always take the number in the parentheses, plug it into the first answer, and work it out. Then you take that answer, plug it into the second function, and work it out, and then the final number is your answer. That concludes the lesson. So please go on and print out the worksheet for 6.5 and 6.6. Practice them both, and remember you will have a quiz on Monday, so bring in your questions.